Greetings, welcome back to Laboratory Learning Solutions. Welcome back. We are still talking about 5S, but before we get started on 5S, let's talk about a little refresher of what Lean is all about. So we said that Lean was all about focusing on non-value add tasks, eliminating them, and then just all of our value add processes and tasks and activities will remain. So we will develop a systematic approach to identify and eliminate waste in our environment or non-value add activities. So as you go through this program, you will develop some methodology in order to identify waste the same way every time. And we'll talk more about that as we go forward. But once we identify this waste and inefficiency, we're going to classify it and we're going to add it to our list because we want to eliminate it. So let's talk about what that waste is in our areas. We said waste is any activity that consumes resources, produces no value, and has the potential to negatively affect process efficiency, customers, or patient satisfaction. And these are all those issues that we put up with on a daily basis. So we want to identify that. So what is it? Well, we want to look at the defects associated with our processes. So as we're going through and we're applying 5S, let's take special note of any defects that happen in those areas when you're cleaning and organizing the environment, and start to jot down what those are, because we want to come back to that. We're going to circle back to that and say, how does that happen and how can we eliminate it? Also focus on overproduction. Is there anything in the area that you notice while you're doing 5S that there's overproduction? Or maybe some paperwork is overproduced, or maybe some reports are produced that really don't need to be reproduced because they're in the information system. Something like that. So pay special note to anything that's overproduced. Also, is there any waiting that's happening while you're 5Sing? So take special note to that. Are maybe nurses waiting, are office clerks waiting? What about non-utilized resources and talent? And we said that if there is something like this happening, we want to identify it because we want to find out why this is happening and why that these special talent people are not being utilized for their skills. So let's jot that down as well. And then what about transportation? While you're doing 5S and then you're in those areas, pay special note to those transportation issues. Are materials being transferred back and forth? Inventory, is there patients being transferred because maybe they're in the wrong place? Maybe the signage is not good. So patients get lost because they're not real sure on where they're supposed to go. And so that could be transportation issues as well. So let's pay special note to that and then take note. Also inventory. Is there inventory in the areas that you're working or that you're cleaning up for 5S? And is there too much inventory there? Does it really need to be there? So let's take special note of that. And then motion. So too much motion. What about the people that are actually doing the work? Do they have to get up and walk to the next office to get what they need? Or is there too much motion that's happening within their work cells itself? Is everything located to where the nurses need the materials, the products, or whatever it is, take special note of that, because that takes a lot of time and that's a lot of waste. So we want to identify that because we can always redesign these areas so we can eliminate that motion and eliminate that waste. And then excess processing. So what's happening where we don't really need all that excess processing? Whatever doesn't add value to the process is waste, and it's embedded in many of these healthcare processes. So we want to take special note of missing patient information, anything that's missing that we have to go searching for. We want to be able to identify that. Anything that is not on the paperwork that maybe was omitted, or we have to go searching for some identification issues. Maybe the process is not set up, accurately, or the process is not optimal where we do miss patient information or we do get maybe patients mixed up. So let's take special note of that. What about the wrong procedure? Was that performed? Maybe the instructions aren't clear and we find that out while we're doing 5S. So take special note of that. And then all this misplaced paperwork. You know, how much walking do we have to go and we have to find these? And so in a 5S environment, it's nice to create some bins, color coding bins, so we can set up these areas where it makes it very, very simplistic to find what we need so we're not searching. And that's the whole idea, is to eliminate the searching and eliminate the waste. If we're running out of supplies and we are setting up our new areas with 5S and we're organizing it, if we're running out of supplies, let's take special note of that, because now we can redesign these areas to include what we need and enough of what we need. So an organized space can be designed and we can implement this during 5S, and everybody can have input to what should this process look like? What should our work cells look like? And do we have everything we need? If we don't, let's design it in, because you can redesign it. Just because you're working in that area, if it doesn't serve you and your coworkers, then redesign a better process. So the workplace organization, what is it? This is a workplace suited for visual control. So we want to organize it, we want to keep it clean and neat and orderly, and then we want to standardize it. And that's what's important about this whole effort, is to standardize it. This is the way we do things now around here, and we all do it the same way. So where did it originate? Well, it was originally developed by Henry Ford as the can-do method, or the CANDO method. And then this stands for cleaning up, arranging, neatness, discipline, and ongoing improvement. And in the early 50s, after a visit to the Ford plant, Toyota actually adopted this CANDO method, and they transferred it into their language, very, very helpful in order to organize the workspace and get rid of all this waste and inefficiency. So what is the most important aspect of 5S? Well, it's people, and it's the people that are helping, they're participating, and we want to ensure that we reward them for participating. Now, we might not be able to give them a couple dollars an hour, but we can actually write them a nice note. We can give them a little, maybe a gift card. We can buy them a cup of coffee, anything to show appreciation, because people that participate in 5S are actually going over and beyond. So we want to make sure that we reward staff for their participation. So what are the important factors of 5S? Well, first and foremost, it's leadership. And we want to make sure that leadership is involved. They maybe show up for 5S, they support the effort, they give us words of encouragement, and buying lunch is helpful as well. And then we schedule the time, we schedule the resources, you have people sign up for it, and then we're going to provide focused training. So what are those lean tools that you learned throughout this course that you would like them to know on this 5S event? Do we want to teach them about the waste that they might see? Maybe some of the lean tools that you've learned and that you can teach them. So this is a focused lean effort. This is a focused training just on what you need them to know for the sake of 5S. So they're knowledgeable going in. And we can invite people, we can all show up in the same area, and then we all have different tasks. Or you can have multiple areas that you're conducting, so you're kind of overseeing 5S in multiple areas. And then assigned responsibilities and teams. If it's everyone's job, it's no one's job. So all of these different assignments, who is going to do that, and who will be the leader in that area. So if you're doing multiple areas, it's helpful to have a sign-up sheet with responsibilities and tasks is very, very helpful. And then 5S is conducted periodically. So we want to make sure that, we not just do it this Saturday or this Friday, but we actually roll out 5S maybe once a month, or, some areas, some organizations have 5S Fridays, something like that, where we're continuously working on it and auditing it. And then rewarding, and we talked about that. We want to be able to reward staff for their hard work, and they're going to continue to, be involved in 5S. So it's nice to reward them for their effort. What are the benefits of 5S? Well, we'll have a clean and organized workplace for sure, and it will remain clean if we're able to audit the workplace and have a method of compliance. We also will reduce any clutter, so you'll be able to find everything that you need in a timely manner. Decreasing motion, remember we said that we can redesign our workspace in order to bring things closer to us so we don't have to go and walk to go get whatever we need or reach too far or anything like that. We can reduce inventory that is in our area. So if we don't need it within the next couple days, we probably don't need large stores and stores of inventory in our workspace. We have a visual workspace. We can implement color-coded bins, color-coded signs, anything that makes your job easier and faster and less waste. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. But other than that, I will see you at the next module, the phases of 5S. See you there.